What media have I been consuming recently? We talked about this off pod. The Invincible show has gotten me to start reading the Invincible comics, and so I haven't read in a couple of days. But in like 3 days, I went from issue 0, which is the origin issue, and I'm on like issue 76. And there's only like 144 issues, give or take, like a tie-in or two, and it is really good. I really like the comic. I like the show more just a little bit because in the beginning of the comic, it's like if you watch the show first and then start reading the comic, it feels like the comic skipped over a bunch of stuff where the show just really started like expanding on a lot of the early issues. Like in the comic, in the most recent episode, the events happen in there, where in the comic it's like issue 17, but like the events in that episode, but combined with everything else, is like all pre-issue 12. So it's a little weird, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I really do like the show. I like the comic better, but that's just because I'm like way further into the story at this point.
Yeah. You think, without spoiling it, you think the first season is going to end off with that big fight?
Yeah, I'm almost certain. I feel like this is gonna be like a 6 or 7 season show, and I'm already have like the first like 3 seasons. Like I've already identified like where the season finale for like the first 3 seasons are gonna end. And if it doesn't end there, then I think it'll end on. And again, this isn't a spoiler. I think it'll end on the Bug Planet, because that feels like a pretty big cliffhanger type thing. So I don't know if the big fight will be like the mid-season finale, or if it'll be like the actual season finale. Because like the Bug Planet feels like a season finale type cliffhanger. You know what I'm talking about, because I know you only read the the synopsis of what happens, but you know what I'm talking about when I say the Bug
Planet. I was gonna bring up Invincible later, but I've read a synopsis and it made me, because I didn't plan on watching it because I'm not into super dark superhero shows, but then I was like,
it's not super dark. That's the like.
Then I read and then I read the synopsis. I was like, okay, it's still pretty dark, but it's not as dark as The Boys. It's nowhere near as dark as The Boys.
Oh, it's nowhere near, like nowhere near.
Yeah. It still keeps itself far more lighthearted than The Boys does. The Boys is more characters, and The Boys are insane and just horrible people.
I feel like the only good characters in The Boys are Huey and Starlight. Like those are the only like 2 like genuinely good characters. Like everybody else is just horrible.
You at least got a decent amount of actually good people.
Oh yeah, Invincible. Like I can really only count even the villains in Invincible.
Even the villains have their reasons for being bad, and it's really not their fault. It's like how racism is a thing that was taught. It's not, you're not born racist. It's like they were born into horrible circumstances, and if they were born any differently, things would be different. So yeah, it's not as dark as The Boys, but it's still darker than most things. Superhero things.
I don't even think it's really that dark. Like I think like the darkest it gets is like low level boys, but like at like an average, it's like slightly dark DC.
Yeah,
like as an average, if that was a scale.
It's gorier than dark DC.
Oh no, I mean like, but gore doesn't really equate to like dark storytelling, in my opinion. It's just like it's a thing.
Yeah, gore doesn't.
I mean, like this is definitely like easily the goriest comic I've ever read, and I have read like a lot of The Boys, and this is gorier than The Boys, but it's still nowhere near as dark.
Yeah, but I'll probably read it eventually. I'm probably just gonna subscribe to the Comixology thing, because when you subscribe, you just can read all the issues without having to pay extra. So I'm just gonna pay that. I think it's like $7 or something, and then read all the issues.